attended Greeley Central himself and graduated in 1989. He then went to get his bachelor's degree from Colorado State University and his master's degree from the University of Northern Colorado. He now teaches art history, AP art history, physical education, and is one of the coaches of our boys basketball and golf teams. On his free time, he loves to travel the world, visit historical art landmarks and art museums, and spend time with his family. His students and athletes had nothing but amazing things to say about him. One student said, "Mr. Rohnke is incredibly inspiring and his passion for his subject is unparalleled. He constantly challenges his students and players to excel their personal best to really outdo themselves." In addition, one of his athletes added, "He motivates our team at the roughest times and always encourages us to push through the grit. I can proudly say that Coach Rohnke has made me a better man just from the energy and wisdom he has shared with me." Now, please help me welcome this amazing man, Mr. Kevin Rohnke.
Wow, thank you, Courtney. That was over the top. My goodness, what can I say looking out here? You guys look absolutely fabulous. The class of 2015, I see so many faces out there, so many wonderful memories. I have to get a picture of this. I hope you don't mind. Wait a minute. Here we go. Technical difficulties. Smile, everyone. Beautiful. That was an epic selfie now, people. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, President DeWitt, Director Richard, Director Van Soos. Thank you, Mr. Cousins and my fellow teachers. Thank you, parents. Can you believe this day is here? But of course, my most sincere congratulations go out to the Greeley Central Wildcat class of 2015. You are the newest model of Greeley High School graduates dating back over a century. Me, I'm a 1989 model. And I am so unbelievably honored and humbled to get the opportunity to speak at my alma mater today. Before I go any further, I would like to give a special thanks to two Wildcat teachers who are retiring after today. And they're not just teachers, they are great educators. They both embody the Wildcat credo of pride, class, and dignity. To Mary Samuelstuen, vielen Dank für 24 Jahre inspirierend und fröhliche Lehre. Sie wird uns fehlen. I hope I didn't just call her a jelly donut. Actually, I just said thank you for 24 years of inspirational and joyous teaching. You will be missed. To Brett Shaw, my mentor of 30 years, I was your student, your player, and your colleague. You have unwavering standards and integrity. Leonardo da Vinci once said that it is a poor student who does not surpass his teacher. I have a long ways to go, but thank you for the roadmap. Brett, Mary, you will both be missed. Class of 2015, my fellow Wildcats, the world is a huge and endlessly complicated place. Far more complicated even than Mr. Birch's AP economics class. The world can be confusing, it can be distracting, it can be mean and relentless. It can be very easy to get lost, and at times like that, you need to find your way. And in the interest of helping you stay on course, I have a graduation present for each and every one of you. The junior attendants helped pass this out. I have a compass for every one of you graduating today. I realize it's a remarkably low-tech tool for such a modern world. And it is generally agreed upon that the Chinese invented the compass over 1,000 years ago. And the original purpose of the compass was actually to help guide the spirit before it was ever used to guide ships. I hope you keep these compasses with you, and someday if you ever feel lost, perhaps it will remind you of today. And just perhaps, you might find your course again. Today I humbly offer you 4 simple truths which might serve as your compass during your life. The 4 points on our compasses begin with gratitude. This is the most simple to do, yet is often the most overlooked. A simple thank you. Thank you for holding the door. Thank you for another glass of water. Thank you for giving me a chance. Class of 2015, we are here to honor you, but make no mistake, this day is not just about you. This is just as much about them in the stands. This is about your mother who worked 2 jobs to make sure that you have food in your mouth and clothes on your back. It's about your grandparents who gave up a chunk of their golden years to make sure you had your homework done and turned in on time. It's about your dad who followed you all over Colorado, Wyoming, Nebraska, and Kansas to watch you play volleyball. And it's about that teacher who gave up time with her own family to stay and help make sure that you understand the fundamental theorem of calculus. I don't know what that is. But Mr. Hartshorn assures me that that's really cool. Broader still, it's about those people you will never meet who have allowed you the opportunity you have today. Among them, the farmers and the agricultural workers who put food on America's table. On this Memorial Day, I would be remiss if I did not thank the men and women of our armed forces standing guard, risking their own lives, their own futures, so that you might have the opportunities which lie before you today. For those of you Wildcats who are going in the military, Roman, Andrew, Charles, Angel, Maddie, Chris, Brock, Annika, Andrew, Tristan, Marshall, Stephen, Savannah, Ryan, and Blake, I thank you, I thank you. Robert Louis Stevenson said that those people who forget to be thankful have fallen asleep in life. Be thankful. From here, we move to the second point on our compasses: always seek beauty in the world. My 2-year-old son reminds me of this every day when he's playing in the backyard and he stops suddenly, wide-eyed, and he looks like this. And after a moment of parental concern, I realize that he has stopped and is listening in amazement to a bird singing in a tree. He actually stops and smells flowers. When was the last time you did that? As adults, finding beauty can be tough because there is so much ugliness, anger, fear, meanness, and hate out there. And then the routine of the everyday can drain the rest of the beauty from our minds. Finding beauty has to be a conscious choice. Abraham Lincoln once said that most folks are as happy as they make up their minds to be. Look with new eyes at the world. There is both simple and grand beauty everywhere you look. And don't forget to look for beauty in the people that you have known your whole life. Your children dancing and singing at the top of their lungs to "Let It Go, Let It Go." I know the voice will be calling. Or seeing beauty in the eyes of your wife of 14 years. Watching your mother weep as she sees a glorious painting by Titian for the first time. Or recognizing that beauty and wisdom lie in every wrinkle on your father's face. Especially since you probably put most of those wrinkles there. Stop and watch the sublime beauty of a sunrise on your way to work. Just pull over for a minute or two and watch the glorious colors change. People will always have more or less money than you. Much of the world you cannot control. But how you choose to view the world is up to you. Yesterday I went and saw the movie Tomorrowland, and one of the overriding themes of that was wonderful. One of the questions was asked, when the wolf of despair fights the wolf of hope, which one wins? And the answer was, whichever one you choose to feed. If you practice seeking beauty, when you arrive at old age, you won't be bitter and you won't be angry. You will have a lifetime of beautiful memories. The third point on our compass contains our humanity. These phones are truly amazing. The picture I just took and posted on Facebook could be seen immediately by a friend of mine who lives in Berlin, Germany, 5,000 miles away. Just 25 years ago, when I was a wildcat, we didn't have the internet in our pockets. We didn't have the internet out of our pockets. I actually had to try to sneak handwritten notes under the all-seeing eyes of Mr. Shaw in his U.S. history class. You guys missed the lost art of origami with folding those notes, I'm telling you. That was a class of '89 up there, I think. While technology has the potential to unite us, many of us feel more alone and more isolated than ever. Technology can be a fabulous tool, but don't let yourself, and more importantly, don't try to define others in 144 characters. It is too easy to destroy someone's character or dreams simply by pressing post. Gandhi once said, "There is more to life than increasing its speed." Our humanity lies not in our technology, but in our capacity to care for and look after one another. Pope Francis recently said, "How can it be that it is not a news item when an elderly homeless person dies of exposure, but it is news when the stock market loses 2 points?" My 6-year-old son, Joe, and I were in New York last year. He and I were walking through Times Square holding hands, and I was making sure I wasn't making eye contact with any of the New Yorkers, because you're not supposed to do that. But not my son. With a smile on his face, he would say good morning to a homeless man. Hi to the man on the corner dressed up as a woman. How are you today? To the businesswoman whose face was glued to her phone, walking frantically to a meeting. Each of them looked shocked, but then smiled warmly at my son. Humanity. He gets it, and I hope he never loses it. He didn't see differences that day. He saw the same. The homeless man, the transgender woman, the businesswoman, they were all just people. They all had mommies, and they all just want to be loved. Joe led with love and not fear, as so many of us, myself included, often do. Doors open with love. For Joe, the equation is always so simple. He always tells me, you're either filling someone's bucket or you're dipping from someone's bucket. Unfortunately, as we get older, we tend to feel safer by defining ourselves more by our differences than by what unites us. Many of us are afraid that by embracing someone who is different, we are in some way betraying our own beliefs. Cesar Chavez said, "Preservation of one's own culture does not require contempt or disrespect for other cultures." Wow. Quotes from Gandhi, the Pope, Cesar Chavez, and a 6-year-old from Colorado. All live completely different lives, but are essentially saying the same thing. In art, some of the most strikingly beautiful paintings make use of colors from the opposite side of the color wheel. These colors don't destroy each other when placed next to one another. In fact, it is their differences that make them more vibrant. Humanity. Reach for compassion and kindness instead of sarcasm. Look to compliment instead of criticize. Heal instead of inflict. Wildcats, no matter what you do from this day forward, please be a bucket filler. And now we arrive at the last of our cardinal directions on our compass, our true north. It's your responsibility to act. And this is the toughest part because we have so many issues. Racial inequality, gender inequality, poverty, unemployment, homelessness, hunger, healthcare, cyberbullying, environmental degradation, problems so big we feel so small and inadequate. It is so easy to just pass it on to someone else. So easy to blame someone else, or much easier to simply complain via Twitter. Let me tell you a story of a girl your own age, Malala Yousafzai from Pakistan. Her only crime was being a girl who wanted an education. On October 9th, 2012, about the same time you were attending homecoming your sophomore year, she was riding a bus in Pakistan when a man boarded that bus and shot her for simply wanting an education. She survived her brutal attack, but I don't suppose getting shot was part of her life plan. She would have been well within her rights to retreat, to surrender to fear, but instead she chose love, she chose passion, and more importantly, she chose to act. The terrorists thought they would change my aims and stop my ambitions, but nothing changed in my life except this. Weakness, fear, and hopelessness died. Strength, power, and courage were born. Malala is now a champion for the educational rights of all people. Last year, at the age of 17, she won the Nobel Peace Prize. One girl with the courage to stand up. A young woman whose actions make the world better for others. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope and pray that you are never face to face with such a terrifying circumstance, but the most valuable lesson that you can learn from Malala is this. You don't have to have a huge bank account to make a difference. You don't have to have a 4.0. You don't need to know the mayor, the governor, or the president to help instill change. Get this. You have everything you need right now. You have an internal compass. Each and every one of you has the capacity for greatness within you. So I ask you now, as you stand on the threshold of your future, of all of our futures, what will your legacy be? Will you help make the world better? I beg you to do something. Pick one thing. It doesn't have to be as dramatic as Malala. Do something. Volunteer at a homeless shelter. Donate food, clothing, money. Do something. Be a champion of the earth. Recycle. Conserve water. Don't use plastic. Pick up trash when you find it, even if it's not yours. Do something. We can start simply in our own homes by not passing on petty, offensive, and ignorant prejudices to our children and our friends. And for heaven's sake, honor the hundreds and thousands of men and women who have died over the last 239 years to give you the opportunity to instill change. Please vote, and not just every 4 years for president. Local elections often affect us the most, but are often the least attended. Don't be that person who does nothing but complain with a hashtag and a tweet. Wildcats, if you make the difference for even one person, you have made this a better world. Look at you. 311 of you. You are a force, and there are a lot of empty buckets out there to fill. Don't be afraid. Let love guide your heart. This country needs you. It needs your passion. It needs your optimism. It doesn't need cynicism, and it doesn't need whiners. The mediocre allow obstacles, fear, and setbacks to justify their inaction. Don't be them. Don't be average. Heck, you can fail at being average. Why not try to be great? Let gratitude, beauty, and humanity guide your heart. Let your actions of love and compassion be your true north. My favorite artist, Vincent van Gogh, said, "I am seeking, I am striving, I am in it with all my heart." What a perfect way to live your life. Class of 2015, I congratulate you. Now go forth. The ghosts are watching.